if it's to dad specifically, I'd say be as present as you can. Tradition be damned, culture be damned. It's your child. Change the diapers, clean the nose.
Yes, please.
Do all the things. Play those book games. Wrap him in a blanket and pull it. Just play with the guy.
Toddler giggles. Oh, they're the best.
You will look back on those moments so fondly.
Yeah.
You will look back on them so fondly, and you lose nothing by doing it.
Absolutely.
And then structure.
Hi guys, welcome to the Adulting Out Loud podcast. I am super excited to be here. The last time I did that introduction, I was on my bedroom floor with a laptop propped right in front of me. I had my tiny microphone and I was on a Zoom call with my co-hosts because that's how we used to do our podcasts. But today, I have like a whole set going on. I have a guest with me. Yes, I have a lot going on. And so it's super exciting. The Adulting Out Loud podcast has gone video, y'all. And I could not be more excited. We are going to be still doing the audio thing. So audio buddies, we have not forgotten about you. You can find us wherever you stream your podcasts. But we are now also going to be on YouTube. So please subscribe. Please share, please like, and yeah, let's do this. So today, before I introduce my guest, allow me to shout out my host today. We are doing this at the MCI Media Hub. They are the guys behind this whole setup. They're the guys making us look good. You can find them in Kabalagala, Tirupati Mazima Mall, in case you're a podcaster, in case you have a YouTube show, or in case you have any whatever project, video, audio, photos, yes, please, that's the plug. They are your plug. Okay, so for our very first video podcast, we are having a conversation that I actually enjoy having, even off camera. We're talking parenting. We're talking first time experience as a parent. And my guest is many things. But among those many things is he's a dad. And he's going to introduce himself. Thank you so much for accepting to be on the podcast.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Yes. Yeah. Introduce yourself, please.
I've been applying for jobs, eh? So
that
question is triggering. The question is triggering. Yeah. But my name is Shem Opolot. Mm-hmm. I'm a writer. I'm a healthcare professional.
I find that
let's go with that
so
one.
interesting.
Yeah. What?
Writer, healthcare professional.
Why is that interesting?
Because science people are not usually writers.
I think everyone is a writer.
Really?
I think everyone can be a writer.
Everyone can be a writer.
Yeah. And so,
but there's some people who are more, like it's more natural. You don't believe so?
Yeah, no, I think so. Possibly, yeah. I
enjoy your writing.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. I enjoy writing.
Shem has a weekly newsletter. Mm-hmm. You've been very consistent with that.
Yeah, 100 weeks.
That is amazing. I really love it. You want to tell us a bit about it before we get into it?
I write a newsletter called The Friday Fix. Mm-hmm. And so The Friday Fix is, well, when it began, I always wanted to journal. Uh-huh. And I couldn't somehow make the time to journal as consistently as I wanted to, for various reasons. Maybe I wanted to journal in a specific way. I wanted to pour my heart out on some piece of paper about something, but it just never happened. And also maybe because it was daily. Okay. I think because I wanted to journal daily, and daily was a huge commitment.
Yeah, daily is hard.
Yeah, exactly. So, but then I also told myself that the Friday Fix was a good way for me to write about what I was feeling at the time, or write about an experience that I had at the time, but combine that with also trying to do what I did when I was making YouTube videos, which was share things with people that hopefully can make their lives easier, whether it's professionally, whether it's personally. And so, since I took a break from YouTube, I'll come back. I don't know in what capacity. I will. I'm considering a lot of things. I don't think I'll come back in the same way. I probably want to be doing Excel. Probably not.
Okay.
I mean, AI is coming for Excel. Hot. But I probably will come back either as a healthcare professional, probably in the global health context. We'll see. But so for me, I wanted to, when I left YouTube, I said I still want to have some connection to the sort of audience that I built. And so the newsletter was a very natural way to do that. It was low friction. It wasn't that hard to do. At least I don't think it's hard.
Yeah, the consistency.
Yeah, and I can schedule the newsletters months ahead of time.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
So it works really well for that.
Good job.
Yeah, but the Friday Fix is just, I read about life and I read about work.
Yeah.
And so I share some life stuff, some work stuff, and
some
then a
Excel
bunch of
stuff.
Yeah, some Excel stuff because I'm still an Excel nerd. And then just interesting things that I find on the internet. Yeah,
it really is that. It's a nice newsletter.
Thank you.
All right, so before we get into our conversation, I'm going to ask you some quick fire questions.
All right, this wasn't what we agreed.
No, just in case you came with like notes and prepared.
Gawa.
I got you.
Hit me.
Yes, but they are still related to like parenting, so don't worry.
Cool.
You know the answers. There are no wrong answers.
That's what they always say until you give a wrong answer.
Okay. Pregnancy or postpartum? From a dad perspective. You know how like we are always like,
I was like,
moms always share like, pregnancy for me. Like I'd rather have pregnancy than postpartum, or rather have.
Okay, so you
so from a dad perspective,
yeah.
Pregnancy or postpartum?
As in which one I prefer?
Yes.
Postpartum. In my case.
Yeah,
yes.
Obviously, in your case.
Yes.
You're not speaking for your wife.
True.
In your case, postpartum.
Postpartum. Yes.
You want to give why?
Well, I think my wife is small. She's smaller, and so I think pregnancy. My children, our children are big.
Oh, really?
Zion's a large boy, or was a large boy, and so she carried very heavily, and so she felt a lot of discomfort in her pelvis and her hips, and she always had a lot of back pains and things like that. We had to go get massages and all that, and so. But postpartum for her was much easier.
Yeah.
I think. You can ask her, but this is for me looking from what I saw.
But I've heard most men say actually postpartum, and their reason has been like pregnancy was scary for them, like watching their wife carry.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't scary for me. It was surreal, if anything. It was surreal. It was, I mean, for our first child especially, because I think I was around for Zion's for almost the entirety of the pregnancy. I was around, and so it was really cool to watch that happen and watch the changes and experience the kicking and all that. And so it's its own incredible experience. So I don't know, but again, what I prefer is just based on what was more comfortable for her.
Okay, toddler or newborn? Which stage do you prefer?
That question has no right answer. It really doesn't. No.
I have an answer. Like I can straight up tell you
because there are trade-offs at every stage. One stage they don't sleep. Another stage they sleep, but then the energy you have to deal with is different.
I would pick newborn any day.
See, I don't know, man.
The newborn smell, guys.
Smells. Okay. If that's where the butt is.
The newborn
toddler
sweet,
all the way.
Slick.
if that's where the butt is, newborn smell. Babies can smell nice. Even 3-year-olds can smell nice.
Yeah,
my daughter is 1. She smells amazing.
No, like the natural newborn. Newborn. Anyway, for me it's newborn.
Toddler,
any
because
day.
of sleeping. I think it's sleep. I think my wife would agree. I think we watch old videos and we see pictures and they were cute. And we miss the cuteness. But I think the sleep. Because the way I know both of us, I can't think of many things more important than sleep to us. Yeah, so.
Now that you talk about sleep, would you prefer the babies sleeping during the day or during the night?
Of course at night. What do you mean? That's when you're sleeping.
Have you ever had a baby not... my last born never used to sleep during the day.
Yeah, but you can do stuff with them during the day.
No, you're tired. Because even at night, they like wake up to feed and stuff.
Again, the scenario you gave, I thought was perfect. Where they're not waking up at night.
No, they wake up. They're normal babies. They're normal babies.
Okay, so which normal baby doesn't sleep during the day?
I don't know what was up with my baby, but she never used to sleep during the day. Like for real.
Point
she'll sleep for like 10 minutes, 15.
What?
Max 30. But she would sleep at night,
I'm so sorry.
like for long stretches, like
see?
4 hours, and wake up, feed, then.
Oh, 4 hours, okay. No, that's incredible. I mean, for us, we very much did the every 2 hour thing for a long
For a
time.
long time.
Yeah, Zion, our first kid Zion was every 2 hours, night or day.
Yeah.
Every 2 hours. And then the nights began to stretch out a little bit longer over time.
To like 3 hours.
Yeah,
4.
3, 4.
Okay.
Sometimes you'd like,
So you
you'd do
pick
5
night.
and it'd be like, you know, because also it was the first kid, so you have to keep checking
Like,
if
is
he's
he
breathing every now and then.
fine?
Yeah, there was all that. Yeah.
So you do night?
Yeah, but
you pick
absolutely
night.
nights. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. What is your most unexpected expense since becoming a dad?
Unexpected.
Like you didn't see that one coming.
Unexpected. I need to think about that. Unexpected expense. I don't know if there's anything unexpected. I mean, maybe it's the stuff you have to. There are these like little trinkets because the kids grew up in America, and America is consumerism central. So in America, there's a thing for everything. Why your child has this, there's a toy you can buy. So I think we have all these gadgets to like clear their nose when they have flu. It's like this machine you press and it sucks the mucus. So maybe there are things like that.
Like just small
These
small
little like
things where
good
it's
trinkets
like
that you have
this
that you
too.
buy in America because they've told you it works. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's maybe it, because I think I didn't foresee having to buy things like that.
Like that, yeah. Like quite random, eh?
Yeah.
An unexpected skill you have developed since you became a dad.
I mean, I guess it's a skill I always had because of, how you try to make one trip with your groceries from your car to your house.
Yeah.
I think kids, I think they 10x that skill because you now have to take the groceries and the kids
Right?
out of the car and into the house in one
go.
Yeah. So
And it's kids, not kids.
Exactly.
Like
exactly.
both.
So I think figuring out how to move
Balance
with these
stuff,
individuals.
like, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Your hot take about parenting.
Your take.
Yeah.
I think, especially first-time parents, I think there's a lot of pressure to be perfect, to be a good parent, and I think giving a damn is the best requirement there is for a parent. I think if you give a damn, I think if you care about the child,
You're a good parent.
I think you're more likely to be a good enough parent.
Yeah.
Just by caring.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I think that would
Just
be
the fact that you
I don't
care.
know if it's a hot take, but yeah.
It is a hot take because there are people out there who will be like, caring is not enough. But yeah, you have to start somewhere, right? Okay, so we're going to get into our conversation. We're talking your experience as a first-time dad.
Okay.
How old are your kids now?
Zion is 3, and Samira is 1 and a couple of months.
3 and 1. Okay, so you're very much in the years of littles, like little kids, right? Okay, what was your biggest surprise since you became a parent? Like when you became a parent, what surprised you the most?
Surprise. I mean, I think there are very many things. Okay, some of this. I mean, it's hard.
It's hard.
I think I didn't. We were anxious, right? When we were having Zion, who is our first child, one of the things I did was I documented a lot of that period.
Really? Like from pregnancy and all
yes.
that? Okay.
So again, the same way I've told you how I want to interview my parents. So with Zion, it's very much first child versus second child because I didn't do nearly as much with the second one, right? I hope she never finds
Baby
out.
girl.
No, but she's fine. She's fine. She's very much getting the girl privilege that but so I used to make this one. I got all my closest friends to make videos saying hi to Zion before he came.
Please tell me you did that for your second.
Did I?
Did you?
I don't think so. I don't think so. Honestly, yeah, I know. I tell you it's terrible, but yeah, the second one just kind of showed up. I feel like she showed up and it was late already. But so yeah, everyone in the family sort of greeted Zion when he was coming, and then
that's sweet.
We used to take walks because that was a big deal for
like exercise,
Evelyn's health.
And
So we had to exercise and take walks and things like that. And we'd take walks, and I'd get out my phone and we'd say, Zion, see, we're walking with mommy, and you're inside the belly, right? Things like that. So we'd be
You
talking to him,
guys.
and then we'd do. I remember a few days before we went to the hospital. This is like when she was about to pop, and again we were packing the suitcases, putting his clothes in the wardrobe and things like that, and
Like
his little
last
tiny
minute
little
preps.
onesies.
Oh,
I know.
do you see why
Nah,
newborn
no
is
chance. boss.
okay?
Nada. But so I think, but when he showed up, I say it was hard. I mean, it's really sleeping, bro. It was exhausting. And the thing is, again, they were born in America. So you don't have this overabundance of nannies and aunties and mummies and grandmothers.
Was it just
right?
the two of you?
No, I mean we my wife's family
Yeah.
was available.
Okay.
But with Zion, we were living in our own apartment, just the three of us. And so, fortunately, her mom would cook for us. She'd make
Okay.
food and she'd bring it. They lived about 10 minutes away from us.
Okay.
And so she'd cook food and bring it. If they weren't doing that, I have no idea what we would do. I honestly don't know what we were going to do, because the level of fatigue we had was unbelievable.
Yeah.
I think that's maybe the thing that was,
The most surprising.
yeah, just we weren't getting any sleep, and it impairs your judgment. At least personally, it was impairing my judgment. I'd like forget things in places. Yes, like what?
Thank you for that, Shame.
I'd
For all those
leave
people
things.
who don't believe that mom brain, and now we know
Yeah.
dad brain.
I mean, it's not comparable. but
real.
yeah.
It's actually real. Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
It's really-
I'd forget
yeah.
my phone in places I can't believe. I'd leave the tap running, maybe leave the gas oven on, but maybe these are things I do when I'm not. Yeah, maybe things I do anyway. But I think the fatigue was
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah, and I think no one. Okay, like they tell you, right? We have heard about sleepless nights
Yeah.
and what, but
We
it's
had
it's really surprising how exhausting
So when we left the hospital,
newborn stage. is.
hospital, they gave us this sticker to put on our fridge,
Mhm.
and it was an emergency call line that said, if you think of harming your baby,
Please
call
call.
this number, right? And we used to joke about it.
You were like, who?
Yeah, we used to joke about it. And then we had days when, you're all at peak exhaustion and the guy is finally falling asleep, and then you both just get to sit down.
And then you
5
hear,
minutes later,
oh my god.
yeah.
I feel you.
And we're just like, if this kid doesn't, And-
I feel you. It's actually, we laugh now.
yeah, but so
But
that's
it was
why I'm
not
sleep,
funny.
Listen, that's also why I don't be on the baby stage,
Yeah.
newborn stage.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. When you put it,
I don't
like,
miss
when
that.
you put it like that.
I don't miss that.
Yeah.
No, I'll
No
trade
one
that
misses
cuteness
for
for sleep.
sleep.
Yeah, they're cute now too.
Yeah, I agree with you on the sleep bit. I completely. So you've talked a bit about feeling overwhelmed, the lack of sleep, it's a big transition,
Mhm.
but like you have so many months of preparing,
Mm.
but it's like the baby arrives and you still feel like we needed more time. At least for my case, that's how I felt. So do you remember a moment where you felt really overwhelmed, like being a new parent, being a new dad?
Really overwhelmed. I mean, my wife is very organized. You have to hand it to her. She had, again, especially for Zion, the first kid. I mean, just your first child. No, again, this you have to appreciate it in context, because of all the over preparing we did with Zion. With Nsemere, we were calmer. Yeah,
You're like, we
we were
got
calmer.
this.
Exactly.
We know what to expect.
Exactly. With Zion, it was like, I mean, Evelyn had a spreadsheet going of things. Yeah, we had a spreadsheet of things to buy, things we needed,
need to
all
put
this
in
stuff.
place, yeah.
Packing hospital bags and suitcases, and and my wife was very good about planning all that stuff obsessively, and so I think that planning made it such that we weren't necessarily overwhelmed.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that would create overwhelm was just the concerns you have that no one tells you about, and then you're kind of grasping, figuring out, is this normal, right? I mean, I remember Zion had the yellowing of his eyes in the beginning,
the jaundice,
yeah, and we're like, what's up? And they told us it's normal. There's this like thing that has to break down which the milk helps and the sun helps, and we're like, cool. But now once they tell you something like that, now you're like, here feeding him every day, putting him in the sun every day.
Right?
waiting. I'm like, I don't know.
I
feel
still see the yellow.
like, yeah. And so I think that's the stuff that was most worrying, was things like that. Like, okay, you know, he coughed like this. Is that normal? He hasn't pooped. He hasn't pooped. How many times has he pooped? What
the
color is the poop?
pooping you get why
what
are
happens
we
here? Do they like make you fill out a form?
No.
In America, they make you fill out a form that tells you maybe I should call it. Excuse me. Maybe I shouldn't call it filling out a form, but you have to like catalog their
How many
bowel
times they have
movements.
pooped and the color?
Yes.
Oh, no.
Pee? Did they pee today? Did they pee? How
Really?
many times? Yes. Every time they pee, you have to like catalog it, poop and write. And it was always like, I don't know if you peed.
Yeah, because how are you going to tell them in a diaper?
What do you mean? As in, like every time you change, they ask.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
But yeah, that was a thing, and it was also, you begin to wonder. Okay, looking at the way this form is structured, maybe the expectation is that all these boxes should be filled, and they are not. So, is
like
this normal?
no poop? My daughter, like, used to take really long without pooping. Like as a newborn, like days, and I would be so stressed, and my mom would be like, it's fine, she's fine, she'll poop, and indeed she would eventually. But it was like stressful.
Yeah. So tell me, was your mom? How old is your mom? If you remember.
She was 67.
Okay.
Then,
So
yeah.
Did you feel like she knew things
I
about
did.
the babies?
I did.
Okay.
I did. Like, but not like medically, but like from experience. She'd be like,
Right.
oh no, that's normal. Or like, that's not normal. Like when we introduced solids, I went crazy and
Why?
I had I learned like full force solids from like
you went from 0 to Posho.
from 0 to okay, not for sure. Okay, not for sure. I went from like 0 to like pumpkin and I think to like pumpkin and potatoes, like all mixed together. Friend.
That's hilarious.
And so my mom was like, no, that's not normal. And you need to take that baby to the hospital. So yeah.
That's so
Yeah,
funny.
that was it. And when my mom said that's not normal, because most things she'd be like, no, don't worry. She's fine. She's fine. But for that one, she was like,
So did she get constipation?
She did.
How did you deal with that?
And she did until like, and I didn't know. Okay, I didn't know she had because she never used to poop. Like this takes so long.
Okay.
So this time it was like, I think it was like 4 days, 5 days, and then she like stopped breastfeeding. And every time she would breastfeed, she would like throw up.
We had that Zen was like that.
And that's when my mom was like, no, there's no baby who refuses to breastfeed. If the baby refuses to breastfeed, just know there's something.
Speaking of overwhelmed, that was the thing. Now Zion, the difference between our first child and our second, Zion, and I think it was a bit of a sensitive issue for my wife as well, because Zion used to throw up her breast milk a lot.
Oh, yeah, I can
But he used to
imagine
gulp down
what
that
Adrian
formula.
felt.
But generally, he was a baby who used to like bring back milk a lot, and it felt slightly abnormal,
yeah,
right?
like you should love breasts.
Even
milk.
just like first chill the discrepancy between breast milk and formula. That one was also weird. But then just generally, he used to bring back milk a lot. I mean, of course, every time we'd go there, they'd be like, it's fine. They'd be like, they get what they need.
Yeah.
But that was also a tricky one for us. Figuring out whether or not there was something wrong with him. The breast milk thing was probably, just probably didn't make her feel good about herself.
Yeah.
Felt maybe a little rejected by him.
And there's a lot of pressure to like breastfeed.
Yeah, that too.
And then now your baby is like, bringing it back, and you're like, why?
I know, and that was the thing, right? Because I think generally she struggled with what are those medical terms? Expressing.
Yes.
I find it so interesting. She struggled with expressing.
But she's expressing. Why do you find it so interesting?
No, why don't you just say producing milk? What is expressing? I just find it such a weird term. But anyway, that's beside the point. But yeah, but I think so. And you have these pumps, and you'd find her in the morning sitting in the corner of the couch in the living room, and you hear the car squeezing of the machine, right? And she's just sitting there with like two pumps tied, hooked up to her breasts.
And then he refuses.
Exactly.
He's
the
just
amount
like,
of effort it used to take her.
Yeah.
Right? The amount of sleep she used to sacrifice to pump the milk, only for him to come and just like, I think was tough.
Yeah, that was tough. Oh, yeah, that's overwhelming. I can imagine. So we hear a lot as moms, as a mom, as a working mom,
Mm.
I hear a lot. Oh, how do you balance like work-life balance? Do men get that? Do you get that a lot?
Do we get asked
Yeah.
how we balance life?
Yeah.
No, we don't get asked that. No,
Really?
because
Why
people
do
don't
we get?
expect us to be involved. I mean, no one asked me that.
Okay, now I'm going to ask you.
Yeah, no one asked me that.
How do you balance, Shem, work and family?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think one, we're very blessed because my wife is self-employed
Mhm.
and she works with her family,
Mhm.
and so in that case, she gets the benefit of the doubt whenever she has children because her boss is her mother.
Oh, nice.
Right,
So she got proper maternity leave.
Exactly, and so
Good.
well, I don't know. She still had to send emails here and there and
It's
do calls and
okay.
whatnot and solve problems. But yes, essentially yes.
Okay.
But yeah, so then for me, I think also because my work life has always been a bit unorthodox. I haven't had a regular 9 to 5 in 10 years.
Really?
Since 2014. Yeah. So it's helpful.
That's very helpful.
Because I have to be on my laptop at some point in the day, right? And so for me, it was just around finding those little pockets of time to do that. And with when you're in America, that's something you have to be intentional about. Of like you have to have a plan of like, okay, when he goes to sleep or when this happens, maybe
When
her
he
mom will
naps
come
for
at
the
this
2
time
hours.
or her sister will come at this time, and then I will do this, and then you can go to a coffee shop and work for those hours and then come back, stuff like that. It had to very much be calculated. That's still the case today. Whenever we're in America, you have to calculate everything because America's version of capitalism extracts everything from you.
When you're here,
it's easier because you have nannies.
Yeah,
You have nannies. So as long as the nanny is there, you just communicate. I'm going here, I'm going there. What do you need? Everything is fine, and you go and you come back.
But we get judged for having nannies.
Who judges you?
People.
As opposed to what? Having no
You,
nannies?
like you should be the one there.
Who are these people who are judging you? First tell me. These must be aunties, right?
I'm not about to give my aunties in.
Okay, I
You'll be
mean,
like,
you just have.
when did we judge you?
I mean, because I imagine
it's-
that judgment for women only comes from other older women.
Like you get to hear like you could actually be like now I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah,
right,
how dare you?
recording this podcast, and you'll probably get questions of like, oh, so who did you leave the kids with? Where are the kids? Are they fine? I'm like, well, they're not here, obviously. And yes, they're fine. I feel like it's interesting. Men don't get asked that.
No, we don't.
Because you're not expected to have kids.
Yeah,
with you like everywhere.
Again, it's one of those things we were talking about before we went live, right? It's the cultural expectations. If there was no food for the children, maybe that's a question we'd be getting asked.
Yeah,
right?
That's true.
But when they see you without the children, no one asks you where are the kids. When they see you without the kids, everyone's going to ask you where are the kids. Yeah, that's just how it is. Now, what's funnier in our case, for Evelyn and I, again, because of the kids having grown up in America for an extended period of time, again, can't afford nannies in America. So everything you have to do it by yourselves. The day you decide to leave the house, it's on you. You'll decide to leave the house. You have to get that car bag that ties the baby. Baby number 1 here. Make sure baby number 2 is here. And you have a stroller. Maybe you have a ball for him to play. You're going to the park. Things like that. And so, but that training that we get in America transfers here in the sense that now I can pick up and take my kids to Platia in Kololo, and it's just me and the kids. And then now people look at me like I'm weird. Like, where are they? Yeah, now that's what happens.
Where's the mom?
Now, like all the times I've traveled with Zion, because I haven't traveled with my daughter yet. But
like just you two.
Yes. So every time I traveled with Zion, whenever I was in Entebbe airport, the looks of concern on people's faces. It was like I was a divorced single father.
Yeah, right. The
women were like,
cool dad. Like,
I don't know about all that. But, well, for the period.
Oh, he's so involved.
He's such a good dad.
He's such a good dad. Meanwhile, me,
doing
the mom, I could be alone at the airport with the kids struggling.
Yeah, like, that's your job.
And they're like, yeah, do your thing, babe. Do your thing.
Yeah, and so the first time it was Zion because the flight time was weird. It was always going to be a problem. Boarding a flight at like 11 p.m., which is in his bedtime. And so in the beginning, the guy is hyped. We're going somewhere in the car, but then you have to go through that whole checking in, carry you, put you down, suitcases pass, carry you again. So he starts getting cranky. He starts crying, right? And then he starts crying.
Then they're like, it's okay.
And then there are women. Everyone has solutions in the airport. Does he need tea? Give him juice. Does he? Hey, what? I'm like, the guy is sleepy. He wants to sleep. That's
they're
the
like,
problem.
no, you don't know.
And it's hot.
You're a dad. Who is the mom?
Exactly. And then all the men in the airport are asking me where the mother is. All the women in the airport are all the women offering solutions. That's what I found very interesting. The men were like, boy boss, what's happening? Where's the mother? First question, where's the mother? The women, he wants juice, he wants tea. Give him this. Yeah.
That is so funny. So balancing is not a thing for you.
I mean, it is in a sense, but it's easier here. I mean, that's one of the reasons why we had essentially moved the kids back here. Was because I started doing a doctorate last year, and so I was having to commute back and forth every 2 weeks or so to see the kids and the family. And so even though she has support at home in America, it's inconsistent. People leave, come and go. People have their own things to do. It's your child ultimately.
Yeah.
Right. So you can't calculate for other people in your issues, and so that would result in her having large pockets of time where she was just by herself with these two kids, and it was a lot.
Stressful.
Exactly. And so that's when we had to decide for her to just come back here.
Yeah.
While I finished doing my doctorate and things like that, and which again, I'm a man, so of course I can do that.
Yeah.
But we had to figure that out.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've talked a bit about overwhelm, about stress, about those that helpline card. What self-care strategies have you developed ever since becoming a parent, where you're like, okay, this weekend was hard. I need to. How do you take care of yourself?
I mean, I think one of the things that we did as early as possible was accepting help when it was offered, as quickly as we could.
Did that come easy for you?
It didn't in the beginning, but then we realized saying no was at the expense of our rest.
Yeah.
And so we began to concede some power.
Yeah.
We were like, I mean, this is their grandmother, this is their uncle, this is their aunt. They have to stay with the child at some point. We have to be able to relinquish that.
Hard to ask for help or accept.
I mean, that question is probably different if we're not talking about children.
No, like for kids.
For kids, it's a trust thing. I think you feel like you're the only one who really knows your kid and really knows what's best for them.
Yeah.
You're the one who's been doing that research. You've been on the internet all those months. You've like cataloged all these things that Miss Mommy has told you on Instagram.
Right.
So you like know that the kid has to do X, Y, and Z.
You're the one who knows the sleep schedule.
Exactly.
You're the one.
Especially you mentioned that. That's the one thing. I mean, out of the many things that my wife has been really good at, but one of the things she has done well with both of our children is regimenting them. Their schedules are airtight. Once I look at my watch, I know exactly what our kids are doing at home right now.
Yeah.
I know exactly where they are, what they're doing. Right. And that's a function of just her level of organization and really military organization. Right. And so that's how we were able to sleep train them, get them off the, what do you call those things?
The pacifiers.
The pacifiers and things like that. It was really just her insisting on certain things that she had read online, things like that. And so because of things like that, it was hard for us to say like, oh, let him go stay with his grandmom, because then we always felt like a lot of the things we had worked really hard to achieve would be undone with the grandparents, because they're just like, let the child sleep, things like that. Yet for us, we know he has to wake up at 4, otherwise he's not going to sleep at. Right? Like we need him to sleep in the window he needs to sleep at.
That's how my sleep training went out the window with my firstborn.
Yeah. So for us, we're like, wake him up. Right?
Yeah.
But the grandparents more often than not wouldn't wake him up.
Just let him sleep.
Yeah. And those are the kind of things that would make you not want to hand over. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a trust of like them adhering to your regiments.
Yeah. So back to self-care. How do you take care?
I think what we did, so accepting help.
Yeah, that's
and
one.
Communicating, really over communicating, and this was for both of us, because we needed to we needed to find rest, right? So we had, in that tight regiment we created, we had to decide, okay, this is when I'm going to sleep, and this is when you're going to be awake with the kids. This is when you can sleep. This is when I can do X, Y, and Z. This is when you can go do work on your laptop. This is when things like that. So it's very much trying to compromise and empathize with each other, right? I mean, I'd have instances where I'm up really late at night on my laptop because I have to be, and then, but I know that I'm going to bed late at 2 a.m., but I know that at 4 a.m. or 5 a.m.
someone is going to be awake.
going to wake up, right? And sometimes, if I really pushed it, and I was up really late, and she had managed to get a lot of sleep, then she would say, "It's fine, you sleep. Let me wake up and do this shift." Because usually I do the morning shifts, so she could sleep in. So things like that. So I think we really had to find time to rest for each other, figure out a schedule that sort of helped us manage, helped us rest, and also fun time for each other. That was a big deal too. Whenever we could, which was again a function of letting the grandparents take them for a while.
Like,
go out for just a walk, even
schedule.
Yeah, like not even a date, just go out for a walk. Because for us it was like, we're just going to the grocery store to buy things, but we don't have kids. This is amazing. Let us go to Target and just walk in those aisles and look at things and come back, right? Because it was just, when you're so immersed in baby for so long, it can be a lot.
It can, and sometimes you don't realize that you're just in it, like you're just in, like, even your conversations are like, the diapers are out, it's time for immunization, or like it's always about baby.
Yeah.
And then you realize, like,
I mean, one of the running jokes for us was how we looked. I consider my wife is a very stylish woman. I consider her a very stylish woman. She probably considers herself a very stylish woman. The way my wife dresses in America, though.
Functional. The style has to be functional. You're
that's
like, will I be able to?
Yeah, that's it. And so really, the both of us, right? And that was one of the things of like, like I just need 40 minutes to bathe,
right,
and shave,
and put myself together, feel like a human being,
and have a proper meal that isn't just, I picked one biscuit from here, I picked one thing from here, right? So sometimes it was just those things, finding time to just do normal things that make you feel like a normal functioning adult.
Yeah, I know, I agree.
Because we were in sweatpants 24/7, 365.
Sweatpants are nice.
Yeah.
They're comfy.
I agree.
All right. So, do you think you have a parenting style?
Me as Shem?
Yeah.
I think I do.
You do?
I think it's forming.
You think it's forming?
I think it's forming.
Do you think it's influenced by your childhood, how you were parented?
I mean, I think whether I'd admit it or not, I think it has to be.
You think it has to be?
Where else? Where our influences come from our influences.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and so I think that. I mean, I think our parents did the best they could.
Yeah, they did.
You know, I mean, and like you said, they seemed like they had it all together. Same. I feel like my parents had it all together.
They knew the stuff.
But also, we don't remember
when
3 and below.
Yeah, that's true.
Right?
I hope my kids don't remember 3 and below.
Because I'm doing a doctorate right now and I'm not around as often as I would like. I'm hopeful that
they will not
remember that I wasn't around. I mean, of course, but there's a whole thing about the bond forming.
They won't shame. Don't worry.
But so my parents were very strict. They were very strict. I mean, very strict African parents. Probably all the things. We have very similar upbringings as Africans in a lot of ways. So I probably don't need to harp on that. But I'm trying to strike a balance between the heavy-handedness that I was raised with and a bit more softness, which also, comes from my wife being softer with the kids.
You're the tough one.
I think we are both. I think it depends on the situations. Okay. I think some things she feels a lot more strongly about. Some things I feel a lot more strongly about. I mean, for example, I feel very strongly about my son expressing himself. Even though
you want him to express himself.
Yes. Even though, again, and this is a function. But then again, like we said, sometimes I forget that he's 3. Sometimes I think you should be old enough to do this. Then I'm like, maybe not. Right, but then but because I know he can express himself, the moments when he doesn't frustrate me. Because I'm like, why are you on the ground just making some sound instead of telling me I am pissed off because this happened?
Gosh, he's a baby.
See? But sometimes he tells you.
Yeah, so he's learning. Like,
Right?
it's not like I've learned and now done.
I see, this is something
So
that I need to figure
he's
out.
learning.
Yeah,
He's
because
learning.
I mean, it just happened today. We went to the zoo, right? And the guy wanted to play at the swings.
And you were like, no,
Right?
time to go.
I could see he wanted to play at the swings. It was almost dinner time. So I was like, so it was almost lunchtime. I was like, we need to go eat. But then I realized there was this period of time before the food came. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, we can compromise. Let's go and play. But I told him, we're going to go and play. But when the food comes, we're going to go and eat. Deal? He's like, he mumbled some stuff. I'm like, I see you, Carl. Let's go. So we go to the swings. We do the swings for a while. Then they told me food is here. I told him, Zai, it's time for lunch. Then of course the guy collapses from the swing, falls in the sand. He's like,
I don't want
You
to
know?
go.
Exactly. And he starts just like doing everything, doing the most. And I'm like, my friend, we had a plan. I told you, you would swing. When food was ready, we'd go.
Like
Right?
that. That's why you were talking to him.
Yes, we were right there. Right? That's the thing. So I still struggle with balancing the softness and the heavy-handedness. I think it's something I'm still figuring out with him, especially. And I'm worried that
Toddler, do you see why I pick newborns?
I'm worried that I don't know, man. I just think it's still easier. And I'm worried about also just being too soft with my daughter because she's a girl. And not just being probably the same.
No, you're not going. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler, I see what you did there. Spoiler alert. I like that. But so with him, I want to be able to. So I want him to just to be able to express himself, to say what he needs when because he knows.
He does.
He knows,
but
and
he's a
because he
baby.
expresses himself all the time. And so I'm like, okay, now you're upset. Why are you upset? What do you want? And sometimes it takes him a while, but he says, I want to play. I'm like, Kawa, now we know you want to play. All right, now we can work with that. Okay, we can work with that. But it's a work in progress.
It is. So
But
a balance. So yours is a balance.
I'm trying to balance
You're not like
heavy-handedness
throw away
and softness.
The heavy-handedness.
No, I think it's necessary.
Yeah, I think so.
I think it's necessary. I think Zion doesn't listen sometimes, and sometimes
He's a
he needs to be
toddler.
like, guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So has your social life changed any bit ever since you became a dad?
I mean, absolutely.
How?
I mean, my social life changed when I became a married man. it isn't always the case in
Conversation
Uganda.
for another day.
I
Shem.
know.
Conversation.
But I think,
for-
yeah. I mean, generally, obviously, I used to go out a lot more than I do now. Now, this is specifically to me. I mean, when we think about just the amount of time I've been a parent and where that time has been, I mean, a huge chunks of our parenting has happened in America and then in Uganda. Now, the way it looks in Uganda is because you have a lot of help in Uganda, I could technically maintain the same lifestyle I did before I had children.
We don't have that much. You make it seem like we just have like, but we do Bambi.
I know
We-
what you're talking about.
We try.
None
We
is
try.
solved all the problems. Me, I'm telling you. So because in Uganda you have a nanny, so I could go out if I wanted. Me, it's just a case of like I think I'm getting old, man. I don't like being in loud places for an extended period of time.
You've reached there.
But,
Already?
I don't know if I've. Okay, for me, I think it's this thing of like either I'm in a club or I'm in a place where I can have conversations.
Yeah, so club
I
loud
can't
noise.
mix the two, and I feel like
So you're like
a lot of the
in that
places
club,
in
don't
Luganda
try to
mix-
talk to me. Don't try to have a conversation.
Yeah, no, I just feel like the club is not for conversations. You enter the club, the music is loud, and you're on the dance floor, and I feel like
Yeah.
it should be for that.
Uh-huh.
But Uganda has this like
Mix.
mix of like restaurant bar lounge
Yes, exactly.
where the music is at
Correct.
club sound, right? So we're in a restaurant, we're sitting down in a lounge environment, but we can't hear each
and
other
I'm
speak.
like,
Exactly, me it's exhausting.
Yeah.
It's exhausting. So I feel that's a tricky for me, but that's beside the point. So in Uganda, I can maintain the same social sort of lifestyle I had, but I just generally don't go out a lot. But Friday, Saturday sometimes I don't usually go out 2 days in a row. I just don't.
because you're old.
Possibly. But yeah, but usually Fridays I like to go out. I like to see my
Okay.
friends.
All right.
In America, there's zero social life. So yeah.
So your friendships didn't change much since you became a dad?
No.
My friendships changed.
I hear
quite
this a lot. I hear this a lot about women.
Does Evelyn say the same?
No, but I
No.
hear this a lot about women.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, no, it's actually very true because I hear a lot of things about women having babies and their friends just sort of stop inviting them to things.
Yeah, because we don't show up, and so they get tired of like.
All right then. Well, then you know the
inviting
answer.
us. Oh, we'll always ask like, "Is it baby friendly? Can I come with my baby?" And maybe it was not like a baby thing.
Yeah,
but
they're
then,
like,
but then
"Junior is
yeah,
coming."
it's like she's coming with her baby.
Ever since you got a child,
Ever since she
She just thinks
moves.
that.
I like for my firstborn, I went everywhere with her
yeah,
because I didn't express. Like for me, it was like
I
I didn't express. Yes, I didn't. I don't know why the express word makes you laugh.
It's hilarious.
But I
It's
didn't.
for me. It feels like
You're
it feels like
expressing the
no.
milk.
express for me feels like a euphemism for people that don't want to say the word breast.
No.
For me, I feel express is in the category of people who don't want to say vagina.
Really?
don't
No,
want to
it's
say
like I
penis.
breastfed, but I didn't express. So like the baby was on the boob.
Yeah, anyway, I don't know enough about this.
Okay.
I also just find it a funny one.
So that's why. So I moved with my baby everywhere.
Okay.
And so if the place you're inviting me was not baby friendly, I was not going to show up.
Okay.
If it was just too much work to like pack up a baby, I was not going to show up.
Yeah, it takes like 2 hours to leave the house.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, so
For-
of
for
course,
the first
of course,
child.
people get tired. No, even for the second.
Okay. For us, it takes a lot. We figured it
Really?
out. No, once we figured it out. I mean, I used to carry a whole
I
bag
should
of
talk
things.
to Evelyn. No,
Again,
naturally,
you really
I'm a
should.
light packer.
She's efficient, man. I have to tell you.
Mm.
She's very good at what she does.
You should start a podcast.
I don't know about all that, but yeah.
Momming. So it's interesting to know that for you. I wonder if it's the same for
But it's the case for men.
other
No,
guys.
yeah, men, our lives don't change that much. Maybe financially. At least in the cultural context,
That's
that's
true,
probably
though.
what people expect to change.
but not
Financially.
socially.
May not necessarily be the case, but people have expectations financially. For men and women, they have parenting expectations, and so our social lives don't necessarily change very much. I mean, I've seen scenarios where all our friends have had a child at some point, but the next day we're
You're
in
like,
the bar with the
"Hey,
guy, like, hey, come.
Shem."
The guy's like, hey, how is she there? The guy's like, yeah, she's at home sleeping. Yeah,
They're okay. They're fine.
2 days fresh. I would not
Meanwhile,
be
I am
outside.
there struggling. While for you, you're
Exactly.
like, they're okay. They're
Exactly.
fine,
I would
fine,
not
they're
be
good."
outside. I can guarantee you. I would not. But yeah. So that's the difference with
Okay.
the sort of cultural context we have around that.
Okay. So you've shared about people sharing advice on how to do stuff. I'm sure you got quite a bit of that. What was the most valuable piece of advice you got before becoming a dad?
Before becoming a dad, valuable piece of advice.
That you received?
I think, my friend, the men are struggling. Let me tell you.
Are they?
No, what I mean. That's okay. Let me rephrase. I think that men don't get enough help
Yeah.
and guidance about things like this. And that happens for a variety of reasons. And I mean, it's the same way the months leading up to you getting married, women are in these
With-
life schools.
Like
With,
singers, with
well, for us, we're drinking.
church
at least in theory.
aunties, with everyone.
Yeah,
basically.
women are in church groups, cell groups, singers, all this stuff. While the men are just outside. The guys are just like, hey, man, you're going, man.
Yeah, come,
Right,
come.
exactly. It's a completely different, different situation, and we could benefit from those things as well,
Mhm.
because
I agree.
no one really tells us anything. Guys just say it's a good thing. You want to have a kid, it's a blessing. Those things that everyone says. It's a blessing, it's a blessing. Hey, have children. What? Populate the earth. Replace yourself. People say all sorts of things.
Replace
Yeah,
yourself.
people say all
really.
sorts of things, right? But so for me, I don't remember. Honestly, I don't remember them. I might have received advice, but I don't remember. But I know that I was encouraged to be as involved as possible, as present as possible. I mean, I know my mom told me that.
That's nice.
Yeah, my mom is a radical feminist, so
Oh, that's nice.
Um,
Interesting.
I mean, I wouldn't say she's radical, but she's a
No,
she's a
just having a
sociologist.
feminist.
She's a strong,
Okay.
matriarch.
So did you seek advice?
Yes, absolutely.
Did you go like to your dad and you're like, man, I'm becoming a dad.
No, I didn't.
Tell me all things you know.
No,
about me.
I didn't. I should have,
Uh-huh.
but I didn't. And I didn't because I don't know. Maybe I didn't think that was his bag. I don't know if that's. I don't know what he would have had to say. But this is also, in hindsight, I probably should have. I'm
Mhm.
sure he would have had some interesting things to say. This is
Yeah.
partly why I want to have more
Right?
conversations like
You
this with
really,
them.
you should.
Yeah, but so
You
for me,
should.
I think I was just encouraged to be present and be as involved as I can, and that's something that I've always tried to do.
So what advice would you give to a new dad?
That's it. Be as present as you can. Be as involved as you can. There are a lot of cultural dynamics that distance men from the upbringing of their children, and I don't understand the benefits of it.
Right?
I really don't understand the benefits of you not
There are
knowing
none.
your kids.
Like
You don't know things about your child. You don't know what sounds he makes because you're just not there. Just because you've bought milk, right? And so for me, I think it's because it has been a very beautiful experience. As tiresome as it was to wake up in the middle of the night and change Zion's diaper and change Nsemera's diapers and burp them and
Bapping, my
and
goodness.
dealing with Zion's constipation and having to put things inside his bum so the poop could come out and having to deal with all that stuff did something to me, man. I can't really describe it, but I felt like I was parenting.
You are parenting.
Right? I felt like I was parenting, but also I felt like this is what life is about. For me, it felt like this is what it's about. I feel like the financial provision side of it is something that it's a thing that we have to do in the capitalist context. But I think the changing the diapers, the wiping the tears, the cleaning the nose,
the
the
being
feeding,
involved in that day to day.
Yeah, the figuring out why he isn't eating, singing songs so they open their mouth, forcing their mouth open so that you can put food inside there.
Yeah.
As frustrating as those moments feel in the moment, they are just, that is what it's about. And I will recommend that people do as much of that as they can.
Yeah. Did you ever have moments of self-doubt?
Always, I still do. I still think I'm a terrible father sometimes.
Really?
Yeah, I still feel. I mean,
being that
it doesn't help. It doesn't help with being away doing my doctorate now. That I see them a lot less. And then you FaceTime, and then you have 2 seconds of daddy. Then he sees something in the air, and you're like,
and then he's
yeah. But so I think for me, it's. I still feel like I could do more. I wish I was making more money than I am, so I could maybe do more things. But I feel like I could be present for more things. I feel like I could be more emotionally supportive. So I'm trying to learn this. I'm learning.
Yeah,
I'm learning. I mean, sometimes I see how I handle a situation, and then my wife comes into the situation, and she just like pacifies it very quickly, and I'm like, I guess I could have done that, but it's like I don't have those tools. Then I figure out how do I get these tools,
right?
And so every now and then I have self-doubt about whether or not I'm doing this right. But
how do you pull yourself out of those moments?
I mean, like I said, the fact that you're worried about that is a good thing.
Yeah, that's true.
That's what I think. Giving a damn is, again, bare minimum. I think it means that you're on the right path to figuring it out. If you didn't care, I think that'd be a problem. And so for me, it's just like, I have another day to try. So in the morning, and that's again probably my favorite thing about taking care of children is that the short memory. They will cry bloody murder, and you feel like this relationship is irreparable.
Yeah.
And he will go somewhere, come back, Daddy, let's go here. And I'm like, I'm so glad you've recovered from this, because I didn't think we were coming back from this. Yeah, I didn't think we were coming back from this, my guy.
Never forgiving.
Exactly.
He's never
they
forgiving
have
you.
such a short memory. He wakes up in the morning, and it really is a brand new day to do some new things.
Yeah,
and I love that about them, and I wish I could be like that.
Yeah, don't we all? Right? Don't we all? That's actually what I was going to ask you. What's the most what do you think is the most rewarding thing? Or what's the most rewarding thing about being a dad?
Man.
For now,
Besides the
before they are
child.
teenagers,
I mean, I think
like so far.
I don't know what I would define as rewarding, but I will tell you things that I enjoy.
Mhm.
That things that bring me joy, especially, right? Because of course, just having them around is fantastic. It's always funny how whenever we would leave the kids with the grandparents and we would go somewhere for like 2 hours. 30 minutes in, we'd be like, "Hello, I miss Zai.
That's the
I miss
thing.
Nzamere. I miss Haka Giggle." And then
Like,
we
you
start
can
talking
be
about
so
these little things that
excited
they
about
do.
like, oh, time away,
Uh-huh.
and then literally the next hour, right after you're like, hey, wow,
Yeah.
yay,
Yeah.
I miss them. Now should be laughing. Now should be.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So with like 30 minutes in and we're talking about the kids and these little idiosyncrasies
And-
they have and these little quirks that they do. Right. And I think so for us, I remember when Zion was a little younger, my wife and I used to like fight to go into the room to get him when he wakes up because he was the cutest kid when he had just woken up. There was a certain level of joy he would have when he would see you come around the door. Because like the door would open inwards into the room and his crib was behind the door.
Okay.
Right? So you'd open the door and once he
knows.
hears the crack of the door, you just hear
Sits up.
the ruffling in the feet in the blanket, and then you turn around and the guy is
It's
jumping
like-
and lifting his hands, and it was that look, that moment.
Yeah. Priceless. Yeah, I agree.
Top 2 and not 2. Right? That moment was incredible, and so we used to fight
To be the
to have
ones to
that
go and
moment. Yes.
yeah.
Right? So there's so many things like that. There's the hugs you get when you've just walked into the house.
And those are my best.
Right? The screams and the hugs you get when you've just
like
walked
they
into the house.
my daughter literally screams. Like when I go
Exactly.
back
yeah,
home.
she does too, more for my wife than me, but yeah, she does. Yeah, and so
You get
those
hugged.
little hugs that they give,
Yeah.
you know,
Pure
the random
joy.
things that they say. My son will say random stuff. He'll say "I love you" every now and then. He'll say "I like you." He compliments you. Be like, "I like your bag. I like your shoes."
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just those things.
in the
those
same
things.
breath, if they don't like something, they'll be like, "You're not smart." Yeah.
Absolutely. yeah.
And they pure, just lovely. Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah,
Really.
absolutely.
What about the most challenging?
I mean, the tantrums. I think the tantrums, sometimes I feel like they're never going to end.
They do, but like
They do. You're absolutely right. I mean, I remember it's like last week I was on there's this app that I use called Perplexity. It's an AI app, which is like it's supposed to replace Google as a search engine. And so I remember I was looking at it one day. I looked at like the last 3 searches I had, and it was like my 3-year-old boy whines a lot. When does it end? And the sources, it's just like you go to a bunch of Reddits and everyone's like, it sounds about right. Like, yeah. Everyone's like,
You're fine.
it's fine.
Because you always
It's
think like,
fine.
is it just me? Is it just my
Yeah,
kid?
exactly.
Because you
Exactly.
see, but I usually see like other well-behaved.
No, you see them during the good times. This is what I tell people. That's what I tell people.
I'm
Again,
like,
you guys think of kids the way people think of dogs and pets. Like you see them,
And you're like,
you see
"Oh,
someone
so
with their dog out.
cute."
Exactly, you come and pet them for a bit, throw a ball around, they chase.
They
You're
chase
like,
us
your kid
in.
is the cutest. Oh my god, let me go home now. Now me have to deal with this guy 24/7. You're not here when I'm trying to put him to bed at night.
And they want
me.
water.
Exactly.
And they're saying goodbye for like a million
Yeah,
times.
yeah.
And they want their favorite toy. I'm just like, just go to sleep.
Yeah,
Sleep.
yeah,
Sleep. Do you know the number of times I say sleep?
yeah.
I'm like,
I can
okay, good
imagine.
night. Okay, now sleep.
But see, our kids are good.
Yeah.
Again, this is again function of the school of Evelyn Karungi. The kids' bedtime is
Like-
exceptional.
No, I really failed at bedtime. That one I accepted.
They know now. The
I-
cues. They pick up on cues. My daughter sees the milk on the table.
She knows.
She goes. She grabs it. She starts walking to the bedroom. She doesn't even. There are no complaints. She knows what time it is.
Really.
Walks into the bedroom. Sits on the chair. You pick her up, put her down, feed her the milk. By the time you're done with the milk, she's already dozing. Put her in the bed. She
Sleeps.
sleeps. We don't even do the like swinging until they sleep. Nada. Put them inside the bed, go away. Same as Zion. And Zion started this a lot earlier, where we just put him in his bed and leave. Like we
Did
wouldn't
you
try to
ever
rock him to
co-sleep? Because I know for me it's because I
We ever co-sleep.
did you? Because I
Yeah,
know
I
for
mean,
me
but-
it's because I co-sleep like for really long.
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
mean,
going
yeah,
to say
that's-
how
yeah,
long.
that's-
So
Yeah, that's the problem.
so yeah.
I mean, I think again, you know, girl privilege. I think it's a very co-slept with my wife a lot longer than Zion.
Yeah.
I don't remember Zion co-sleeping with that. Zion wasn't really about that life. Now he is. when he can't, now he is. Now he's like, I can't sleep with you both, nada. But in the beginning, he always, as early as possible, he slept by himself.
That helps.
Yeah.
I would really want a child who just like good night. Then
You want
just
a
go to sleep.
specific child just for that?
I mean, yeah. All right. So, Shem, what's something about fatherhood that nobody ever told you? Like you got Zion and you were like, why didn't you people tell me
I feel like I have an answer for this, but I need to remember.
that
I feel
this
like I have
is
an
what
answer for
is
this,
up?
but I needed to remember. But I think there are a lot of things. I didn't know it was that hard to feed a child. I thought babies like food.
Why did you think babies like food?
Because I guess TV. I don't know. I thought feeding seems like a natural thing to me. You're hungry and you eat.
Eat? Yeah, no, not for.
I think maybe that. I think that's what I thought. I was like, I didn't think feeding was going to be a problem. Zion. My daughter has better eating habits than Zion.
Really?
100%. Yeah. Which again is it's been a constant frustration in our parenting journey, right?
Why?
But of course, he's gotten a lot better now. But Zion would put food in his mouth and keep it there for so long.
Years.
He
Just
still
like swallow
barely
the food,
chews. I
swallow
mean,
the
he's gotten a
food.
lot better about chewing. I mean, for example, my daughter, you can give her a drumstick and she will clean that thing. Zion doesn't eat chicken like that. He doesn't.
Like he bites, and then.
He'll still have to
Done.
have it mashed into his food or mixed into his food.
Oh.
And then he can eat it. He doesn't he wants to grab a piece of chicken and eat. I've never seen him do that. I don't know when he will do that.
He will
See?
eventually.
Sometimes, again, it's one of those things where and there've been a lot of things like that, which maybe I guess is one of the things you can advise parents is sometimes you feel like your child is never going to figure out something.
But they do.
Like I thought he'd never figure out how to take off his shoes. Now he even puts them on. Right? I thought he'd never figure out how to potty training. Yeah, I thought there were times when we're like, listen, man, I just one of the things that I think one of our friends said, listen, I don't know any adult who isn't potty trained. So she was like,
That was my
eventually he's going to figure it out.
That
right?
was my mantra with my second. I think with my first I was more stressed. I was like, no, but you know how they have like this milestone charts of like by this age they should have been potty trained.
Will give you a hernia.
Correct. I agree. But with my second, I was like, yeah, she's going to be potty trained eventually.
Yeah.
But it's potty training is the what. Let me tell you again, newborns are the best. Just be in your diaper.
Yeah.
Just sleep.
And maybe that's my biggest.
Just take milk so that I don't have to keep forcing you to eat food. Like just like toddlers.
And maybe that's my best thing. I mean, I think one of the things that I actively, because I mean, I think my wife will probably take most of the credit for most of the milestones that the kids have achieved, whether it's a function of her just spending the most time with the kids.
Them, yeah.
But one thing that I was heavily involved in was potty training Zion, for sure, and it essentially happened over a weekend. Happened over a weekend when I was alone with him, and my wife had gone to work, and I was alone with him for about a weekend, about 4 days, and I was like, my guy,
it's time.
You're going to put that stuff in this. You wait. Slowly by slowly. And by the end of the weekend, so I remember my wife came home and I told her I have something to show you. And yeah, I took her to the bathroom and I showed her, that little chart. They have this chart, again, all these like things you buy in America. They have this chart with like a dinosaur sticker that you put every time the guy poops and things like that. So I took her to the bathroom and I showed her this chart with all these stickers and she was like, what does this mean? Like, he has been using the potty. That's what this means.
And she was like, what?
Yeah, and so I felt very proud of myself and of Zion.
And did he use the potty when your wife came back?
Yeah,
you know how
absolutely.
kids can embarrass you. You can be like, oh my god.
I know. And the problem was that when she came, I was leaving. I was then going back to DC to school, and so there was a bit of an adjustment period there.
Yeah.
But essentially, from that moment, that's when he
got
began
the hang
to.
Of it. Yeah.
We had a few setbacks when they transitioned from America to Uganda, but again,
transitions. Kids don't do well with transition.
they don't.
Yeah, but eventually
They don't.
they remember and they're like, oh, I used to do this thing.
Yeah.
And they go back to.
Yeah. If I could give any new parent advice on children structure,
Yeah, I agree.
they benefit from structure
And they love
incredibly,
structure.
and they love it.
Yeah,
they do.
they
They
do.
They like to know, and of
What's
course, it's not
coming
something they can
next.
tell you, but they need to know what's coming next. They need to see something and know. Okay, so we're doing this. They need to
Yeah.
see soap and know it's
Bath
shower time. They need
time.
to see not even soap. They need to see like a tin of Vaseline,
And be like, oh,
and they know.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. Okay. Your parting shots to any first time dads.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'd say that. I'd think if it's to dad specifically, I'd say be as present as you can. Tradition be damned, culture be damned. It's your child. Change the diapers, clean the nose.
Yes, please.
Do all the things. Play those book games. Wrap him in a blanket and pull it. Just play with the guy.
Toddler giggles. Oh,
Yeah,
they're the best.
You will look back on those moments so fondly.
Yeah,
You will look back on them so fondly, and you lose nothing by doing it.
absolutely.
And then structure,
Structure.
and also toys are for adults.
Right?
Yes.
They'll play with
Yes.
shoes, with
You
the
buy
remote.
toys for yourself.
Maybe by
Don't
remote.
lie to yourself. You buy toys for yourself. Right?
No, I think they get to a certain age, but
Yeah.
no.
There's a certain age. Okay, yes, maybe I should specify. Between a certain age, like 0 to 3, 0 to 2.
Even
Zero
okay, 3.
I don't know. I haven't
Three.
experienced 4.
3.
But for me, I'd say from what I've with Zion now, I mean, now there are certain toys that are helpful, right? Stacking certain things.
Yeah.
counting certain things,
Yeah.
right? You begin to see why they may be valuable. But like, really, there's some age where, man, the guy just wants to play. And play could
With
be anything.
whatever, yeah.
With a box,
With a
with a water bottle for drinking, with play with anything.
Yeah.
Especially if you have the benefit of being in Africa and you can just take them outside.
Yeah.
They don't need toys.
Yeah.
They
I
really don't.
agree. Yeah, that one I absolutely agree.
Yeah,
Because
so
my toys,
Yeah. So the toys you have, hopefully they are gifts. That's all I'll say.
that you've not spent on it.
Yeah, it's because you'll use them for if you could catalog the amount of time spent playing with each toy,
Yeah.
that's when you know how useless toys are.
Yeah. They love them the first time they get them.
I like seeing them.
And then they're happy, then they'll play with them maybe like that evening, then the next day. They don't
Yeah.
even know where that toy
That's it.
is.
So
They don't
just
even
hope they're
care
gifts.
for that
Yeah.
toy.
Buy clothes instead.
Buy books. I
Buy
love books.
Yes, books are good.
They're good
But
gifts.
you have to read them to them.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
which is fun.
I read something recently about everything has to be paid for twice. And the first price is the purchasing price. The next price is the using price.
Using
Right?
reading the books would not be a problem. The issue is reading the same book
Oh, trust me, I know.
over
And you know when they get a favorite book,
and
it's your worst
over. I'm
nightmare.
just like, oh my
It's your
god.
worst nightmare. My daughter grabs the book and just comes at me.
You're like, no,
Yeah.
like
and it has 40 pages of boys like trees.
trees. Then you turn the page. A tree.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Girls like trees.
Yeah.
Then the next day and the next day oh my goodness, that's the worst. So thank you so much, Shem,
It's been my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
for being our first guest on the podcast.
Luckily, you laid me. I thought I was like the 30th. So glad to be the first,
Okay,
man.
first guest on the video podcast.
Right. So I'm the
Yes.
first guest, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
First guest.
You said
But thank you so much. Thank you so much for making this happen. I really appreciate it.
no. It's my pleasure. Thank you.
And it was really nice to hear about parenting from a dad's perspective.
My
Moms
pleasure.
we talk a lot. We talk about our fears, our struggles, and I think we see like that content a lot, but we rarely hear from dads about their experience.
But you know
about
why that
being
is,
a
though?
parent. Because guys
I
don't
don't
share.
want us to start another whole podcast.
Because guys don't share. Guys don't like
It's
sharing.
a function of guys don't share, but it's a function of the culture we live in.
Oh, okay.
The context in
Podcast
which,
for
yeah.
another day.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
I'll call you
it's,
back.
The times are very ripe for the disruption of how masculinity is presented today.
I agree.
I mean, both
Completely.
actually. The way masculinity and femininity exist, and all the other things. Because now it's
Mhm.
it's a more complex conversation.
Yeah.
But generally, we need to have a town hall as human beings and like re-agree on how things work.
Work and then move forward
Yes.
from that.
Yes.
Yeah. All right,
The longer we spend just talking at each other versus to each other, things are going to crumble from beneath us.
Yeah. Agreed. All right. So thank you.
Absolutely.
And thank you guys for joining us. We hope that you will come back for more conversations like these. I intend to have more conversations like these. Please subscribe to our channel. Please like, please share. You will find this conversation on audio platforms as well, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Until next time, bye.